getting so big. You're getting so big. Hey everyone, this is going to be my labor and delivery story. I know I took a while to post it. I just been really busy and really tired. Actual labor started at about 5:30 in the morning. And I was awake because I was just having cramps. And then I noticed that they were kind of feeling like really strong at certain points, and then I was like, oh, maybe they're contractions. So I started timing them. They were coming at about 2 minutes apart for like an hour, and it was just really uncomfortable. So I have this huge like exercise ball, and the labor and delivery class that I went to, they taught us that, like, you know, certain ways to sit on that can relieve some of the pressure that you have while you're pregnant. So I was just sitting on the exercise ball. When I went to lay back down, hold on a second. Sorry, I have to feed Kellen. Okay, I went to lay back down in my bed because it was still really early in the morning and I was tired. And as soon as I was completely like laid down, my water broke. I felt a huge, like, it was like a warm, gushy liquid. It felt really weird. And I was like, oh crap. I was like in a panic and I was like, Mom, my water broke. And she was like, call the doctor, call the doctor. So I called my doctor. They said to come in. When I stood up after my water had broken, it was all over my pajama bottoms. I was like, I don't care. But as soon as I stood up, I felt Kellen's head, it hit my spine, and it was so painful. It was like this huge pressure on my lower back, and it was hard to even walk out of the house because that was so painful. Oh, before I walked out of the house, I had to pack my hospital bag because I was not expecting to be in the hospital so soon. Like, because they had been telling me, oh, every time I came in that this is gonna happen until your due date, you just don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll have some time then. So, I should have packed it, but I didn't think I needed to do that right away. So I had to throw some stuff together in a bag really fast. Luckily I had a camera ready, like batteries all charged and everything. So I had to put all my stuff in my hospital bag really quick. I was really tired. So I was like worried that I was gonna forget something, but luckily I didn't. Let me see. So yeah, we got to the hospital and I was admitted right away, and then the nurse came in and put the baby monitors on me. And my doctor came in and she was like, so you think your water broke? And I was like, I know my water broke. And she was like, okay, well, we're just gonna test it to make sure that it's like, that's what happened. And I was like, okay. Because I was sure my water had broken. And they tested it, and the test came back positive. So my doctor's like, we're having a baby today. I was kind of like panicked because I just, you know, like hearing it, like, that was kind of scary. So the nurse, one of the nurses, she was like, so do you want us to give you any pain medication? And I was like, yeah. So they gave me they put an IV in my hand, and or in my arm. I think it was my arm actually. And they gave me the pain medication through the IV. And so I'm not really sure what it was, but I know that it made me like, you know, kind of like out of it, and I was just not really aware of what was going on for a while. Yeah, it worked really well. They had to give me the pain medication twice before I got the epidural. I was 1 centimeter dilated for the first, I'd say the first 6 or 7 hours of my labor. I had to go through the contractions for a while. Around, I'm going back to, let me see, I guess it was noon, I guess, yeah. I forgotten that I needed to call Oscar, so I got in contact with him through the number he gave me, which was his sister. So I was like, I'm in labor, you need to come to the hospital now, my water broke and all that stuff. And he said that both of his parents were working, he didn't have a car, and he was babysitting his nephew, so he could not get over there. And I was just like so upset when he said that, because he did sound like he was upset that he couldn't be there, but I didn't care. Like, I was like, you need to find some way to get here, this is really important, and he promised me that you were going to be here. And he just kept giving me excuses, and so that just really like made the labor harder for me, because I was in a bad mood, and it was just like I didn't even feel like I wanted to have the baby then, because he couldn't be there. So yeah, it was stressful. So I went on having the contractions until I would say about 3 o'clock. They gave me the epidural. Oh, I forgot to say, they put this like uterine catheter in me to measure the contractions, and that was the most painful part of my entire labor. I was squirming and crying, and it was just so painful. It was just like this really intense pinching feeling, and it just hurt so bad. Like, that was the worst thing I ever experienced. It was attached to my uterus, and so there was like a tube, I guess, and it like stuck out of my vagina. So yeah, while I was getting the epidural, I had to sit up straight with that thing sticking out, and basically I was sitting on it, so I was making it stick up even higher. They expected me to sit still. That was like so hard to do. It's like sitting on it and making it hurt worse. So it was really hard to sit still with that in there, and not only that, but for people who don't feel the epidural, you're lucky, because I felt every single part of that procedure. Like, I felt the needle go in my back, I felt it go into the bone, I felt the fluid going in. It was really, really uncomfortable. And when I felt that go in and they were like, be still, it was so hard to sit completely still for that, because I felt the needle going into the bone. I didn't like cry or anything, it wasn't that painful, but I felt everything. So yeah. I don't know if they used anything to numb the area first. I think they did. They used the shot and it stung really bad, but it didn't help at all. So yeah, that helped for a while. I still felt like the contractions, they started to just be like, it started to just be like rectal pressure, after a while, and I didn't really feel it in my uterus anymore. I think it was like 5 o'clock, and the doctor came in and said I had been 5 centimeters dilated for a while, and that the baby's heart rate was dropping. So she was like, if you don't dilate fast enough, we're gonna have to do a C-section, because I really didn't want a C-section. I just don't, that's just not what I planned on, and I was just upset because, you know, nothing was going the way I'd planned, and Oscar wasn't there, and this was like happening way before I thought it would, so I was just really stressed out, and I'm birthing him. Yeah. I got really panicky, and miraculously, by like 6 o'clock, I had dilated to a full 10 centimeters, so I didn't have to get that. That was like really lucky. So by that time, I really felt like I had to push. And my doctor wasn't in there yet, but a whole bunch of nurses came in, and they're like, well, you can do a few practice pushes. So I pushed 3 times, and by that time, I could feel the head. And they were worried because I was still pushing, like I was unable to stop pushing because the pressure was just like so intense. So they hurried up and called the doctor to get in there, and like the head was like coming out when the doctor came in there. They actually had to like hold him in because they weren't like prepared. They didn't think I was gonna push him out that fast. But yeah. So the doctor came in, set up everything, and then she had me start pushing again. The pushing didn't hurt, it just felt like a lot of pressure at first. When he started crowning, I felt the skin stretching, and I felt some of the tearing, and that was a little bit painful, but it wasn't like too bad. I think I just kind of panicked, and because there was a little bit of pain, and I was just, you kind of expect it to hurt worse than it actually does. The epidural took away a lot. I was like really numb, so I did feel everything, but it didn't like hurt. It was just a lot of pressure. So yeah, I pushed like, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 more times, and once his head had like fully come out, after that it took like 1 more push, and then he was completely out. So I was only pushing for like 15 to 20 minutes. It really didn't take that long, and it wasn't that hard for me to push, honestly. Like, I guess because my epidural just didn't take enough away, pushing was not that hard for me. Like, I wasn't that tired after my labor. Yeah, when he was out, they didn't let me hold him right away. He was premature by a month, and they just wanted to make sure everything was okay with him and he was clean, just to prevent like infections and everything. He never left the room, so he was still in the same room with me the whole time, but they just had to, you know, check over him, make sure he was perfectly healthy, which he was. It was just like, I was like really, really emotional when I first held him, and even when I first like felt his head, as you can see in the video, I just started crying. Like, I was crying so much. It was kind of embarrassing. But when you're having a baby, it's just like, you don't even care. It's such a moving experience, like, you can't control it. So, his dad was not able to make it to the birth, but he did come the next day, and he was he was so happy to hold him for the first time. It was actually like a really sweet moment, and he spent the entire day with me in the hospital before he went back. So yeah, it was just like a really happy experience for both of us. Yep, that's my labor and delivery story. Thank you guys for watching.